within, they hold me tight. In the dark, I lose my fight.
Chapter 14. The architect, Charlie Dahmer, always believed he was the smartest man in the room, the most charming, the most magnetic, the kind of man women didn't just want, they needed. Or at least, that's the lie he told himself between victims. He knew how to tell people what they wanted to hear. Women, especially. They craved drama and fairy tales, and he gave them both, right up until they stopped playing his game. Then they'd leave, just like his first wife. Carla had been easy to hook. He'd ghosted her for over a year, distracted by a younger, prettier girl named Jane he met right after their first date. He used to joke to Jane about Carla, called her a wounded puppy who kept waiting by the door. Jane laughed. So did he. They even read some of Carla's old texts aloud one night, mocking her needy tone and her desperate attempts to sound confident. She thought her words made her interesting. They didn't. They made her easy. And when Jane stopped being fun, when the questions started, when the sparkle faded, Charlie helped her leave. In his own way. Carla was still soft, still blaming her husband for everything wrong in her life, still starving for the right kind of affection and attention. It was almost too easy. He didn't love her, but he wanted her to love him, completely. That's what mattered. Her devotion, her surrender. Once he had that, he could control her fully. She thought they were reconnecting, that he was some wild romantic outlaw with homemade moonshine and a private cabin on a lake. She didn't know the drink she enjoyed so much was laced, just enough to make her relaxed, euphoric, pliable. Not enough to scare her. Not yet. He had perfected this pattern over time. A drink here, a suggestion there. Give her something to chase. Let her believe he was her choice. They were staying in Carla's hotel room during her training. It made things easier. No one noticed how tired she looked after a night with him. They were lying in the hotel bed when she asked softly, "Is something wrong?" Charlie blinked away his thoughts. "Sorry, babe. I was just thinking about my ex-wife. She broke my phone once. Took away so much of our time. That kind of stuff messes with your head." He lied. She had broken his phone, trying to get away. "I know," Carla said, placing her hand on his chest. "But we're here now. Nothing can break us apart." He smiled. She was saying all the right things. "What about your husband?" he asked, voice tinged with jealousy he didn't even try to hide. "David is worthless compared to you," she said without hesitation. "I don't even tell him I love him anymore." Charlie's smile widened, but his mind sharpened. "Good. I'm sorry you have to go through that," he said gently. "I know you loved him at one time." Carla hesitated, then shook her head. "No. If I don't love him now, maybe I never did. Love is supposed to be forever." Now that was the right answer. He leaned in, voice low and smooth. "After you finish your training, come up to the cabin with me. There's a big lake, private, peaceful. I'll show you where I make my moonshine. It's secluded, but there's cell service, of course." Carla looked uncertain. "I can't. I have to go back to work." Charlie narrowed his eyes just slightly. "So you say you love me, but you won't come? I'm not sure what we're doing then. You said you'd get a job in my facility. You don't need to go back to yours." She bit her lip. "I just need a little time to make sure I can do this." "You're acting like your husband," Charlie said, letting the words sting. "Maybe you need more time with him, but sooner or later he'll show you his true colors again. Weak men always do." "It's not about him," Carla replied quickly. "I need to say goodbye to my grandson and talk to my daughter Patricia." Charlie softened his tone. "We'll visit them. I'll drive us. When David's out of the picture, your daughters will come back around. You'll see." Carla nodded. "It's David's fault Cynthia and Elizabeth don't love me the way they should. He's always worked against me, just like you said." Charlie handed her another shot. She took it without question. "Let's not talk about this now. he murmured, before kissing her deeply. She seemed relaxed. She murmured something as she drifted off, and within minutes, she was asleep. Charlie stayed beside her for a while, watching her breathe, limp and unaware. It gave him a sense of control, of peace. She mumbled something in her sleep. He couldn't make it out. For a second, a flicker of panic hit. Was she dreaming of David? Or someone else? He shook the thought away. Useless paranoia. He reached over and picked up her phone, unlocking it with the pin he'd quietly memorized. He didn't need much. Just one thing. David's phone number. Charlie pulled a burner phone from his bag, one of many. He kept them for moments like this, little seeds of destruction he could plant and walk away from. No fingerprints, no connections. Then he composed the message. If this is David, I'd like to inform you that your wife Carla has a special toy in her backpack she takes to work. I'll let you use your imagination. I have thoroughly enjoyed using it on her myself. He hit send, watched the screen go blank, turned the phone off, trash for later. Another job well done. Charlie looked over at Carla's sleeping body, utterly still beneath the thin blanket. He muttered to himself, I only know about that toy because she told me, said it gleefully, how she used it with other men. The memory sickened and excited him at once. Carla had laughed when she said it, like it was some badge of pride. She thought it made her better, stronger, more attractive. She thought that made her powerful, he sneered, like she was in control. Then, quieter, with a crooked smile, she'll never be able to do those things to me, never. To Charlie's surprise, David didn't react to the burner text. No rage, no phone calls, no panic. Charlie paced the motel floor, growing increasingly agitated. What the hell was David doing? He needed chaos. He fed off it. And without it, everything felt boring. Carla's schooling sessions dragged on, hour after hour of her sitting in training classes while he stewed in the quiet. He fantasized, plotted, rehearsed new ways to tighten his grip on her. In his mind, it wasn't obsession. It was order. But even that was starting to feel slow. He didn't dare go out during the day. Too many women stared at him, flirted, complimented. He knew how magnetic he was, but the risk of Carla finding out, throwing a jealous fit, wasn't worth it. Not yet. Not when he was so close. The nights were easier, same routine, moonshine, soft words, Carla slowly fading under the drugged haze. She'd pass out and Charlie would finish the night as he pleased. But it wasn't enough. He needed to move the pieces faster. Charlie needed something final, a message to David that would ensure he knew Carla was no longer his, something unmistakable, something visual. After 3 days of nothing, as Carla curled beside him in bed, Charlie convinced her to take a picture of them together. He made it sound playful, romantic, said it would excite him while she was away at her next training session. I just want to look at it and remember what it's like to have your body against mine, he whispered. It'd be the greatest gift. Carla, a little tipsy, easily agreed, her inhibitions softened by the drink, again. She pressed into him, her half-dressed body nestled close. He guided her arm to hold the phone, her face fully visible, her chest exposed just enough. His own face stayed out of frame, by design. Only his torso, tattooed and unmistakably male, was visible. Perfect. The next morning came, and Charlie finally got what he wanted. David confronted Carla. He'd found the toy in her backpack. He must have been sickened, angry, humiliated. Charlie sat quietly nearby, sipping his drink, listening excitedly as Carla yelled into the phone. Why were you going through my stuff? You're pathetic, she snapped. I don't need this in my life. You're disgusting. I need my privacy. Click. She blocked him. Just like that. Charlie masked his smile behind the rim of his coffee cup. It had taken 4 days. But it worked. David had cracked, and Carla had cut him off completely. That night, Charlie unleashed the next strike. This time he didn't use a burner phone. He wanted it to hurt more. He wanted it to feel personal, intimate, like it came straight from Carla's own hand. She was asleep, drugged, peaceful, unaware. He reached for her phone, unlocked it without hesitation, scrolled through her contacts, found David, and unblocked him. Then he selected the photo. The one with Carla curled against his bare chest, her face soft and trusting, her body exposed in just the right way. His own face wasn't visible, but the image said everything it needed to. He smirked, sent the photo, then, calmly, methodically, deleted the entire thread. No evidence, no trace, as if it had never happened. And finally, he reblocked David's number, sealing the trap. David would stare at the photo, burn with confusion, betrayal, rage, and he'd have nowhere to send it. No reply, no questions, just silence. Charlie leaned back, satisfied. David's not going to know what hit him. He didn't need anyone else to be part of it. He was the architect of all this pain, the one pulling every string. It was almost beautiful, how completely in control he was. And Carla? She had no idea. Friday morning. He lied. Work called him back unexpectedly. He delivered it with just the right blend of irritation and detachment. Cold but believable. Not cruel enough to raise alarm, but just enough to make her feel small, dismissed. She probably thought she'd done something wrong. Maybe she'd even apologize. Carla needed to feel abandoned, emotionally exposed. That's when people are easiest to reshape. And that's why he'd been just a little hateful on his way out the door. Not explosive, not cruel. Just enough edge to stir her guilt, without making her run. He had other plans needing to be thought out too. He also needed time for David.
The paper walls, where every brick obeys my calls. She thinks she chose the open door, but I designed the creaking floor. She breathes beneath my curtain sky, a marionette who won't ask why. Each step she takes I've placed with care. She only moves through borrowed air. I draw the line she'll never see. Measure love and symmetry. I press the glass, I bend the light. She thinks it's hers, it's mine by right. No need to scream, no need to freeze. I build in silence and bind in white. She stares through fog as shaped with ease, a master stroke.